Pottery peeps. So I'm 2 days from rotator cuff surgery and they might have to reattach my bicep. I don't know if I've mentioned that, but it's torn in half. So I won't know until I wake up whether that was done. But I'm telling my surgeon because I know he's looking at this middle-aged woman in her 50s, right? And making assumptions about what she does. So I'm going to tell him on the day of surgery that he needs to treat this shoulder like I'm an athlete, because that's what this shoulder gets put through. Sorry, I've got both doors open and I get some friendlies coming in to investigate sometimes. Anyway, so that's what I'm going to tell him, that us being potters, our shoulders are everything. The upper body strength and your core, that is where everything comes from. And this is not a lightweight type of profession. And anyway, so I'll keep you posted on how that goes. But today I actually ordered a bunch of stuff. This is only a little bit. One of the things that I have really I gotta get better, because when I'm down, I shop. And I shop for the studio, and I've got 3 boxes of stuff that needs to come out to the studio that there's no room for. And the big summer project was to finish that clay shed that's right behind this wall. And that's not going anywhere because I'm not. I'm going to be in a sling for at least 6 weeks and then physical therapy. So I don't know what. I'm having high hopes. I tore this rotator cuff completely through. And I remember bouncing back from that pretty fast, but it probably was 12 to 15 years ago. So I'm a little older. Even everybody keeps reminding me, but mentally I'm still 16. I'm married to an old man. We're the same age, but he's old. I'm not, and I don't plan to be. I don't ever plan to be old, and I never plan to stop what I'm doing. So, rant over. I got on Temu, and if those of you who have not been on Temu before, you can get some pretty cool stuff for not a lot of money. But, well, I ordered a couple of different leaves. I'm not going to do the leaf today, probably. We'll see how long I last. I did a little bit too much yesterday trying to get the house and everything set up for surgery, and I'm really feeling it today. But look at this. This is right up my alley. We've got Halloween coming up, and of course, you should be making Halloween. I'm hoping to do the art festival in September, and I know these will be a hit because I love them, so why wouldn't anybody else love them? And I know they're the sugar skull, which is more Day of the Dead than Halloween, but you know, come on, it's a skull. It works. I think it works year round. I also think that something like this would work really cool for a wall hanging. You know, if you didn't want to make a dish. I'm going to make a platter or a charcuterie board for this one, so we can use it for, you know, Halloween or, you know, September, you know, October. But I do plan to make one that hangs on the wall because I just think this is just stunning. Anyway, it's one of those vinyl placemats, and I'll find the link. Hopefully they still have them. They do sell out of stuff fast. I'll look also to see if they have this available on Amazon, and if they do, I'll put both links in. But what we're going to do, if you'll notice, I have all my underglazes out. Normally I would do this with colored slips, but my slips have all dried up, and so they're going to take some work to get back to where they were. And I'm just not, I have, you know, limited amount of time of what I can do, so we're going to make it as easy as possible. Plus, underglazes, it will probably be easier for you if you haven't done your own slips yet, okay? So I did get help. I've got a slab already prepared, and it's 3/8. I'm working with B-Mix, but we're going to completely finish this thing, so that the only thing that needs to go on it is clear glaze, all right? So I'm pretty excited about this project. So let me lower you down. So this is a piece of sheetrock. I highly recommend, I think a piece of sheetrock, I know when I bought this, and I've had this for years, a sheet was like $8, $9 for like an 8x4 sheet, and then you cut it up into the sizes that you want. And I have this size, and then I have one that's even bigger than this. You duct tape the edges because you don't want it, the dust. And sheetrock's made from clay, guys, but you don't want that getting into your clay. So duct tape your edges, and you can leave it on the board. I mean, it'll wick. And yeah, you'll get some molding on the paper, but it's not a big deal. So get yourself some sheetrock for projects like this. I mean, I'm doing it on the board, and I don't have to take it off the board. I don't have to worry about wood warping. This is not going to warp, even if it gets, even with the wetness from the clay. It'll actually help wick some of that wetness out. This is right out of the bag, so I am going to go ahead and dust it with some cornstarch, and so that I can roll this placemat in. And then I'm just going to smooth out. Otherwise I get these little dots from the shaker. And I need to make myself a pounce, like with a sock or something. I just haven't. So many things I need to do that you just don't get around to, but every time you do a project like this, it's like, why didn't I do that? Anyway, I don't know if you're like that, but I'm like that. You'll have to let me know in the comments if you're like that. Okay, so that's probably good enough. So then I'm going to start in the middle and lay it down. And then I like working with a pony roller. You could do a big rolling pin, but I like going over each little bit when I'm doing something like this with a pony roller. And I'm basically rolling it in until the clay starts popping up through all the little nooks and crannies. And there are a lot in here, so hopefully this will work, because there is a lot of detail on this. And this one I'm going to do, since I'm limited on how long I can work, because this arm is getting pretty bad, because I'm doing too much with it. But, so we'll see how long I can do. I'm hoping I can do more than one of these, but this first one I'm going to do kind of more of a tie-dyed. I'm not going to really paint sections a certain color. I love things that are tie-dyed. I'm a hippie, you know. Anything with fringe or tie-dyed, you gotta see my wardrobe. Well, you've seen some of it. But I'm all about color and all about stuff like that. And there we go. It's looking good. But we're going to give this a look of Mishima, is what I'm after. I'm just going to make sure that's in really well. Make sure it's in around too. Okay. Don't think I missed anything. Get these eyes really good. I was thinking if I did a wall hanging, just kept it flat, I would actually put the holes in the eyes and then get some fun screws or something, brass screws or silver screws or even black ones. And then you could hang it that way. You could even just do it even up here. God, this thing is cool. I don't remember how much I paid for this, but it was under $10. I know that. Okay. All right, so I've got that down really good. So now the fun stuff happens. I know I want the teeth white, so I might as well start with that. Usually it's a good idea to start with your darker colors first, but we're just gonna go for it because I do want the teeth white. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just paint the teeth white. And I'm not worried, actually, it might be better to start with the lighter color. And I'm gonna have to do 2 coats Today it's kind of warm, but it's actually cooler than it has been. I think we're only about 80, 85 maybe. And so I will need to do 2 coats. I probably won't do 2 coats on camera, but I will be putting it out on my deck and letting it dry. And so might as well put some white here. And then I might just, I'm just gonna slap color on here, guys. And I want it to, since it's gonna be kind of a tie-dyed, I want it to kind of blend. So, all right. I did kind of pick more Halloween colors. And I'm using mostly a combination of things. Using, I've got this is pear green from Mako's Fundamentals. And then I've got the orange from Speedball, and everything else is velvet underglaze from Mako. And I'll tell you what colors I use as I use them. But I'm just gonna start slapping some color. Whoops. Probably don't want the green on the teeth. The fun colors will be when we get into the purple and orange. I love purple and orange together. They just pop. Let's go ahead and fix our teeth. All right, blend that a little bit. That's what I like about doing something like this. You can blend the colors. And then they're not quite so harsh. All right, I don't know how this will work because it's a fan brush. But yellow and blue make green. But I'm just gonna start putting some color on here. And then the second coat, I might, be a little bit more strategic, but I'm trying not to look at the design and it's like, oh no, this color needs to be here, this color needs to be here. I'm trying not to do that. Actually, I might. And what's kind of cool about this, if the colors aren't exactly what I want and I need to touch up a certain area, I certainly can do that with after it's been bisqued. If I want to make certain colors a little darker or make them more pronounced in like the eyes especially or the teeth. All right, I always love blue and green, so I am just going to kind of just add some green around the blue. I'm going to come back for that flower though, I think. The darker colors are going to make the biggest impact, and so I need to kind of be careful with them. Well, let's take this green down a little bit more. There's really no messing any of this up. Because you're just playing, I want to blend that a little bit more. You could do this for the Day of the Dead and keep it more the bright colors, All right. I'm going to bring some orange in here. I'm going to add some orange to this flower too. Like I said, I'm going to do another Another coat, because it's going to need at least 2 coats. The key is not to get it too muddy. That's the key. So don't blend so much that you end up getting things muddy. Kind of need a red, but I didn't bring red out. See, red and, what is it? Blue, what makes red? I don't think anything makes red. Red's a primary color. So he's going to get probably more of a purple nose. Either that or I'm going to go get red. I might go get red actually. All right, let's add our purple. Should probably have had smaller brushes. All right, I'm going to quit worrying about these so much and just get the color down. Because I do want more of a tie-dyed look. And with the tie-dyed, you lose the idea of the tie-dye if you get too much into it. You know, that this has to be this color and this has to be this color. You don't have to worry about the size either when you do this. I've got a lot of white over here. I'm just going to blend that white, and that'll just make this purple. And this purple is the amethyst purple from Mako. It is a dark purple, and it always fires for me. It does not fire out. Like a lot of purples, I've had problems with that. Oh, he's got a purple brow. Okay, oh, let's put some, you can tell I like purple. I tried to stay, you know, a little bit lighter on the colors. But you could go super moody. Ooh, purple, and what if you went purple and red and black? Ooh, for Halloween. Ooh, I'd have to do that. Okay, so I do have black hair, and I am actually running low of black. And I have these spider webs, so, and I am going to, this is an awful brush. Well, I'll go get a different one in a while, but for now, I kind of want to get this edge. I plan to put this edge up. Right now it looks like a mess, but you got to have faith that it's going to turn out. So, but I want to get the edge here because of what I'm going to do after all the underglaze dries. And you'll see what I mean. Because the whole edge around this I'm going to put up because it's going to be like a tray. And so put these blue, but I'm going to make them black because they're spider webs. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Okay, I'm going to wipe that out. Actually, because I just remembered that we're going to make this look like Mishima. So I'm actually, if you don't like something, you just take it out. So I'm going to put the blue back in there. It's okay if it has some black in it, but I'm going to put the blue black in there. That's hard to say. Blue back in there. All right. And it'll actually make, if it blends in with the black, it'll actually make it a little bit darker, give it some definition, which will be fine. Okay, so I'm just gonna put you on pause and put this out in the sun and let it dry a bit. So this is our mess so far. All right, so I'm already having a problem because Utah just really has no humidity. And so I'm going to show you a trick that I do because my edges are drying out too much, and this is my gross water that I've been using, but I take paper towels because I don't want my edges to dry out. So I just wet them and I wring them out to where they're not dripping, but there's still quite a bit of water in here. And I'm going to go around and lay this around my edges so that, because I want to be able to put the edge up and not, oh, there's another one. And if it is too dry, which I can tell it's already getting too dry, and it's gonna need to be drier. I need these underglazes to dry. I don't want to hit it with a hairdryer because the placemat is plastic, vinyl, and so it would melt it into the clay. So this is one of the tricks that I do. You could do it with plastic, but I find that plastic isn't enough in this short term. So I am just going to lay these wet paper towels all around the border. And then I'll put it out in the sun and it'll keep the edges from drying out too much. At least that's the plan. I do this a lot. In fact, I've shown how to fix a crack this way by getting your clay wet again. By getting the paper towels, getting them wet like this, and then wrapping it all up in plastic for a little while. I've been able to save things. When you live in a place that has such dry summers, you get to learn some of these tricks, but I'm sure I'm not the only one. All you guys in Arizona and Texas though, you guys have a little bit, Arizona and New Mexico you don't, and California don't have any humidity, but Texas I know has some humidity. So that kind of buys you a little bit of time. All right, so I am gonna go set this out in the pot lounge, and I'll take you a picture of it and insert it so you can see where it's sitting in the sun. Okay, it's really bright and warm out here and I've got a breeze, so I bet it won't take more than 5 or 10 minutes. Probably 5, but it's kind of nice having this deck right off of the studio to doing things like this. All right, I want to show you a trick that I just figured out because I'm such a fan of finger painting. This is my second coat of paint, and I'm just going to blend where the colors meet with my fingers to kind of do that tie-dyed look that I'm after, because the brushes just weren't cutting it. So I'm just going to blend stuff with my fingers, which is super, super fun anyway. Where'd my sponge go? Oh, in my bucket. I'm always leaving my sponge in my bucket, which makes my water really yucky. So I do have a sponge here so that I can, if I get too much paint on my finger, but I don't know, there's just something so satisfying about doing this, and it does a pretty good job. So especially making sure that you're in all the little corners of, because this is a pretty detailed design. We're gonna make that yellow a little muddy. If I pull some of that blue in there, it'll go more green. There we go. Good enough. I mean, this is just playing anyway. So I'm just gonna quickly do this, and then it's gonna go back out in the sun to finish. This is its second coat, so. But I don't want any harsh lines where the, ooh, that's already starting to dry, which means the clay is pretty dry underneath if it's drying this fast. Actually, I don't want the green there. I'll just actually let that sit there for a second. Yeah, I don't want a harsh line between the colors. So I just started doing it with my fingers and it worked. And it's like, this is cool. As you can imagine, in school, I really loved finger painting. Plus it softens all of that right there around the eye. I'm gonna get a lot of use out of this placemat. I can tell it already. All right, definitely gonna blend in that yellow into the blue, which will make green, which will be cool. So think of your color wheel. I know that Kate, when she did her video, she talked a lot about the color wheel. Knowing your color wheel really helps you out with picking glazes. She did an awesome job picking your glazes, and it also works when you're doing something like this where you're blending colors. All right. Oh, don't really want to blend purple into, but I don't necessarily want this harsh line of purple either, so we'll just kind of blend that back. All right, so back in the sun it goes. All right, second coat is dry, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to wax everything I did. So this is Wax On Resist by, I can't read it, don't have my glasses, ceramic something. Anyway, this is the one. I like it because it's purple and I can see it. I actually have used other brands, and you can put some food coloring in them so that you can see that it's dry. And this is just a cheap little sponge brush. And then I'm gonna go, and I just kind of want to put this on. I don't want to drag this over the paint because the clay is still wet underneath all the underglaze. And so I just want to make sure I'm not getting it out of the line of the placemat though, because I have plans for that. So I'm just going to put that on all over. And then it goes back out in the sun to dry. Nice thing about doing wax on clay, and since this wax is water-based, and I don't like using wax on bisqueware, because if you get it where you don't want it, you either have to sand it off or put it back in the kiln and fire it off. But on clay, you can literally just get a wet sponge and wipe it off. But with bisqueware, it soaks in too fast and you have to sand or fire it. And this will just be one coat of the wax. Can't wait to take off the placemat to see what it looks like. I love these projects because this will be, when I get done with it, it'll be done. It'll just need a clear coat. You could do this with stroking coats too. This is the exact same thing that I just did. And then for this next step, if you use the tuxedo stroke and coat, you could even do, I talked about it with my fairy houses, you could do a one fire once and it'd all be done. Just make sure it's completely dry when you do that. Oops. Almost didn't get his eye. That would have been bad. It's always good to go over it again just to make sure you got all the places. And then back out in the sun it goes. This is a good project to have multiples going at one time. Okay, it's tacky, but wax is always tacky. I think it's dry. Okay, and my paper towels are dry. So let's take them off. Crazy, because I only had this out each time, I think 5 to 7 minutes. All right, so let's hope this works. So I'm going to come up here with the needle tool and pull up an edge. Oh, it's really small. This might not have been the best one to pick. I think it'll still work. I have faith. But the design on this is really intricate. Okay, so we do. That's going to be fun to wash. All right, I'm going to be smart about this. And I am going to put down some plastic wrap before we do anything else. So I'm just going to, looks like one sheet will do it. And then actually, hold on. Let's take you up. Put you over there. So I was kind of hoping that we'd have more color, but I think I might change what I don't know. We'll see. So I'm just going to lightly roll it down. Let's see what it looks like when I'm done. I was going to do black in here, but now I thought I would have more color or more design that would show up. Still might be kind of cool to do black. To me, black always sets off all the colors. I don't want to roll it down too much because I still want that to be raised, but I don't want it to be rough either. So I am doing this very lightly. Yeah, I don't feel anything. Well, if it doesn't look good after it's fired, I can always touch up the colors, but ooh, I like that. I can touch up the colors. And since I didn't cut off my plastic wrap, I'm just going to roll it back up on my roller. All right. this might be really good or it might be really bad. But what I'm going to do is, actually what I'm going to do first is I am going to, and I'm just going to freehand this about an inch out. And around. Inch, 3/4. I'll just put that knife right back where I took it out. I'm just going around it. It might be further out over on this side. I think I am, so I might have to fix that. This clay is dry over here. Oh. Okay. Let me take a look at it again, see if I need to. Yeah, he's kind of got a lopsided head here, so we'll just go ahead and shave that down a little bit. And just kind of, I can fix that, I think, with the sponge. Okay. And of course my sponge is back in my water. Okay, I'm going to soften my edge. Nice thing having this on a board. If you'll notice, I haven't had to lift this. Let's go ahead and take those little guys off. I have some little goobers. I'll probably have to touch this up after it's been fired, but that's okay. I'm out in the studio and I'm having a fun day. And like most everything I do for the first time, it's just always fun. And you always learn for the next time. And I did do that with my thumbnail earlier. Give myself a mental note. Don't forget about that. Need to cut my nails. I'm not out here enough in the studio, so my nails get too long. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I am hopefully, get my hands dry, hopefully I'm going to be able to lift this and it's not too dry. Okay, so I'm just going to take my finger underneath and do this all the way around. That's probably my son on the phone. I'm gonna have to stop and check that. He is borrowing a recliner for recovery and he's picking it up for me. And I don't need it to have to be really high up, but I'm just gonna like come with my fingers, which will actually soften the edge underneath. I just want it to be high up enough to where if you got olives on here or Smarties, they're not gonna roll off. When I'm doing that, I'm doing it with my fingers like this. I'm kind of pushing down with my thumb and pulling up with my other fingers like that, stretching that clay so that the actual image of the skull stays down. And I kind of want it even. I mean, it's this hand-built piece, so it doesn't have to be perfect, but I really like the way it's going around the bottom part of his skull. That looks really nice. Let me push that down a little bit. I think I need to just shave off a little bit right here. Just shave that off so it's just a little smoother. There we go. And I will smooth that edge again. I think we got it. Okay, so hopefully this will work. Nothing like doing a video that you haven't done before and you're doing it right on camera. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to fill everything in with the black. It would be really cute to fill all this in with white too, or just let the clay. But I'm in a Halloween frame of mind, so pretty much all year I'm in a Halloween frame of mind. It's my favorite thing to make, stuff for Halloween. And I'll probably just do the edge of this if I want to after it's been fired. I'm not going to worry about picking this up and doing anything underneath. So let's go ahead and fill in. This is what kind of gives it the Mishima look to it. At least that's what I was hoping. But I'm pretty sure this design turned out to be smaller because that was so tight on the placemat that I might have to touch this up later. Okay, so I've got myself some fresh water because my other water is yucky. And so I want to just kind of brush the black off the surface. And try not to get water dripping off of this on my hand. So you're going to have to keep moving the sponge. If you ever grouted tile, I see where I've already taken too much away. Maybe if we did it this way, we'll get some of that off. this. It's kind of got more of a Gothic Victorian look to me. I might let it dry and try to sponge a little bit more off, but I can already tell that I'm getting some of the black. But as I was doing this, if you did this with stroke and coats, not the black, just do the placemat and do the colors with stroke and coats, and then fire it. The stroke and coat will act like a wax resist because in the bisque firing, stroke and coats come out glossy. And then you could underglaze and then clear, or you could do the black tuxedo in it and be done that way. And you would get a better coverage. You wouldn't get it pulling up on you. So I'm gonna have to try it that way too. But for right now, for my first time, I'm pretty dang happy with it. So I'm gonna go wash that and hopefully try this again, because I see a whole bunch of possibilities. Isn't that just cool? And then I will, I mean, look how big that is. It's bigger than my head. I will put this under plastic and put some weight bags on it. Actually, yeah, I'll put it under plastic for a little while just because I don't want it drying out too fast. And then I will weight it down. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Very fun. Anyway, check out, well, I'll see if I can find the link. Hopefully they still have it. But I've been able to find some pretty good deals on Temu. And this has by far been one of my most fun projects in a while. So cool. All right, you guys go get muddy and I will, you'll see this glazed. I'm doing some projects that I do plan to glaze tomorrow, the day before surgery. And then Mickey's taking over the kilns. And so she'll be doing a kiln opening and hopefully this all works and it turns out, and we'll see it in probably a few weeks. It'll be a few weeks for this one. Anyway, so, all right, you guys have a great weekend and we will see you in the next one.